But why was he seeking God?
God is the love. It is the question of the humanity. His music transports a message. A message. She is an art, a kind of language, a special kind of language. She expresses thoughts and emotions, and I am of the opinion that these transports of message, the messages are emotional, they are social, they are political, and they are also ethics.
Let's get back to that in a second. Louis, listen, in this quote of Bruno Walter, Bruno Walter specifically says that this God Mahler was seeking for, he who had disappeared from the cosmos might perhaps reappear in the cell. Now, you are a cell biologist.
Yes, I heard that about the music being the first bit of DNA. Of course, DNA hadn't been discovered when he was alive, but that's another story altogether. What worries me is your introduction. You said we're going to have a metaphysical discussion. Excuse me, I'm a scientist. Metaphysics is junk. And because Mahler was a bit metaphysical, doesn't mean to say we must collude with him. That's what I like to hear. Strong support. So I think that there's a great danger in taking a metaphysical view and trying to interpret his music in metaphysical terms. In fact, I'm deeply suspicious of all those interpretations of music which do not involve, you know, I'm not talking about Wagner's operas or things like that, where there's a libretto, but where there's just music to try and interpret it in verbal terms, I think is suspicious and suspect beyond reason, and might be a very nice intellectual conversation, but intellectually it's empty.
To this, I would like, in a friendly way, to answer. First, metaphysics is junk. Okay, but then I look, then they told me we have, you know, real science who deal with real problems. Okay, should I go to most fundamental science, quantum physics? And I learn, yeah. One people claim universe has a limit, doesn't have infinite in time, there is a Big Bang, there wasn't a Big Bang. Sorry, we philosophers were never as crazy as quantum physicists are, in this sense. Point two, now just don't tell me they're not serious, because at the same time I know it is a very serious quantum physics, is as serious as you can get, 1000% experimentally confirmed, and you cannot say what does it mean, what kind of reality, but that's another problem. First, I want aggressively to answer to this point about what Mahler would have said. Nothing, probably something totally stupid. Why? There is an excellent Jewish story in Talmud, a friend told me about it, where two rabbis debate a point, then the one who is losing the argument said, let's call God.
Let's what?
God. Let's call God to come. God. You know, like in any hall, Woody Allen, the Canadian guy, Marshall McLuhan comes, no? God comes, and then the other guy says to God, you stupid old man, you created the world, but it's, as we all can see, a catastrophic, stupid world. You did your job, beat off and leave us wise Talmudists to debate serious questions. And that's the greatness of Jewishness. God says, oh my God, they are right, and run away. I would have been treating Mahler the same way. But now, a more serious question. Now, I'm not... No, I don't mean this in a cynical way. I claim the true, to make a serious message, the true greatness of truly great artists is, my God, in their work. There they put much more than they knew in their person. Take Wagner. He said all possible vulgar anti-Semitism. But take an elementary look at Wagner's work. What's the central Wagnerian hero? Figure of wandering Jew, my God. Everything changes. Immediately you see it's more. But now, more serious. We had a certain reading here, which was that Mahler went through that, how should I put it, 0 point of absolute void and saw the end of the world and saw the Holocaust, to cut it short. Well, now if you allow me just 2-3 minutes to make this point with all aggressivity. Listening precisely to this last movement now of the Fifth Symphony, I claim if there is a thing that Mahler emphatically didn't see, it was this. Because, you know, okay, we know how history of music goes, very vaguely. First, we have pre-modern music where you have all those references to the Harmonia Mundi, all those referring. Then Bach is the first radical modernizer. He saw no harmony in the world, you have to impose a rational order onto music. Then Romanticism, where you have this struggle with material, with Romanticism. That's how I read it very naively. You cannot do it like Mozart, a beautiful melody is there, you must struggle for a long time so that the melody must arise through this density. But that's not the end, I claim. What happens with Schoenberg and afterwards, it's something much more terrifying. It's really like moving from classical physics with dense matter to some more quantum space where you see that, like, you know, you have sometimes the feeling when I am listening to Schoenberg and my favorite Berg, of course, you know this nice science fiction topic where you think you are reality, in reality, but then somebody tells you, but we already live in artificial reality, and then in one of them, much better than Matrix, the 13th floor, you have this scene where the guy goes to the end of the world and sees reality dissolving. Instead of matter, you get just geometrical lines. I claim that in modernism, radical modernism, from Schoenberg onwards, the very material is dissolving in this way. That's the true modernism. This is what which is why I claim, if we already talk with these elementary parallels, definitely not Mahler. What he is doing in this last movement, this is the traditional vitalist strategy of, you know, yeah, I'm ready to lose it all, but then it returns in triumph and so on and so on. The true horror for me is, for example, my favorite Schoenberg, Gurre-Lieder. Why it's unique? Because in one same piece, you pass from this late romantic, passionate, condensed movement universe to this abstract universe. And
Sorry, I must interrupt you. Yeah. There's no relationship between art and science. And so
no, I didn't say, did I say?
Well, it sounds like you're speaking about there is a relationship between music and physics, and there isn't.
No, wait, here it's more precise. What I am nonetheless saying is the following. Probably you will not accept it, I know.
Probably.
But okay. Look, let's leave this debate for later.
Okay.
Because, you know, I'm deeply sympathetic of science in the sense that I don't buy this bullshit science is abstract, alienating. No. I think that scientific disenchantment of the world is the best thing that happened to humanity. I think that we should push it to the end. And when we are talking about crisis of values, don't forget that all horrible political systems, always Nazism, fascism, Stalinism, they all perceived themselves as fighting nihilism and return to some kind of value. So I think we should...
This is your personal point, but one cannot deny that is a metaphysical question.
Which one?
Yes, metaphysical question. It is a fact. And one cannot say that the composers were not intelligent persons.
No, they can be, but then they must put it into
he
music.
He have thought. He have not written only notes.
Okay, sorry, but from what I heard today, he was just, as you said, an eclectic amateur of Lebensphilosophie. God is life, God is deed.
Okay, but you can say so. Stop for a moment, okay? There's one thing, there are many things to say, but when we try to understand the Mahler situation, he loved Nietzsche and he loved the Gospels. It's a very uneasy situation. I think he was not happy with the notion of the Übermensch. Claudia Margris said the Übermensch was meant by Nietzsche as this next stage of human development. We know there will never be a next stage of the human development, right? And you, in America, when you like someone, you say he's a mensch. You don't say he's an Übermensch, right? So it tells us something about the absurdity of the notion of the Übermensch. Many of us listened to the Ninth Symphony yesterday night, which ends, the last movement is all about silence. This is someone, it tells us something about the mentality, the religiosity of Mahler. I think you can say something. In every major religion, you have the tension between the Gnosticism and the non-Gnosticism. In Judaism, in Christianity, in Islam, the Gnostic says, I believe, I know. The non-Gnostic says, I know, I believe. It's a huge difference, and these major religions are built on this notion. And by ending this great symphony with silence, Mahler says, I'm not a Gnostic. I don't know. I am searching. I like the title of the conference, the Questor, because indeed, that's a quest. It is a religious quest. I see elements of a religious quest in it, but it's not a Gnostic arrogance. Mahler is not saying, I know about God, I know about... No, he says, I'm looking for, I'm on a quest.